Howdy farm hands, my name is Gadda, and welcome back to Minecraft. How you guys all doing today? I'm doing pretty alright myself. Since the last time you guys were here, I did a little bit of decorating, and I want to show it off to you before we did anything else. So let's go over here. So here we have the shed from last time, and I included some gravel for the flooring. I did some path blocks. Hey there, buddy, you're still hanging around. I thought you would have scarpered off by now. I still don't have anything to feed you yet, so just hang around a bit longer. We'll do crops eventually. This is supposed to be a farm after all. Also, I added these hedges, which Mr. Sheepy is so conveniently standing on top of. Thank you for showing them off for me, Mr. Sheepy. You're very welcome. We also have some flowers here that I grabbed when I was digging out in the field. I went and cleared off a little bit of space just to kind of see what we had. Most of what's out there, though, are those Pam's Harvest Craft gardens. So breaking one drops like a whole bunch of like food items, and I figure I can deal with that later. I can deal with that when I have a little more inventory space to play around with. But I made this path leading back from the shed all the way back to my campsite. And something you might notice, a little bit of an addition that I wasn't expecting, is this little mailbox here. In between episodes, one of the other players in the server, Taylor, sent me a message and told me that I needed to get back to my campsite as soon as possible to take a look-see at what they had left me. So we're going to go see what's in this mailbox. And they are packages. Okay. I didn't know you could actually do that, but sure. But what's in the packages, though, Taylor? Let's see, let's open this one first. Right-click? Does that do it? No. Can I put it in my crafting? No. Shift right-click? Do I gotta pick it back up? No. They don't seem to want to work. And I don't know why. Well, that's kind of mysterious. I guess we're just gonna have to leave these be for now. And, yeah, I guess we just have to leave these be for now. I'll send her a message and let her know that, it did not work. That's really upsetting. I was looking forward to that. What if it's a prank? What if she meant this? What if she intended for me to spend like 10 minutes trying to open these things knowing they wouldn't open? How do you even make packages? Let's see here. Maybe there's a trick to it that I'm missing. So, a package is a bunch of paper, and then I guess you can't actually craft these ones. Maybe she made the wrong ones? Maybe she cheated them in. Oh, how naughty. Breaking the rules. Whoa, hi there. Do you have any insight, Mr. Sheep? No? You are just, you're just as bummed out as we are, huh? Well, we'll contact Taylor and get something special sent for you. How does that sound? Maybe some nice hay. Yeah. We'll get Taylor to send you some nice hay, Mr. Sheep. Alright, well, I guess that's out of the way. Let's head into the shed and get tooled up, and I'm going to talk to you guys real quick about what I want to do with my day today. We have been living out of this tent for a couple of days now, and it works. It's fine. We have light. We have a place to make our food. We have a little chair that we can sit down on, like so. Ooh, I'm levitating, actually. There's a little bit of a gap between my butt and the actual seat. Oh well. Yeah, but it's not great. It works. It's serviceable, but it's not ideal. If I wanted to camp, and I don't want to camp, I'd go out and I'd properly camp, you know? Maybe get like a log cabin of some sorts. So today, we're going to go ahead and we're going to skip all of our normal stuff. We're going to go right into the build segment, and we're going to make ourselves a nice farmhouse. So let's get on and do just that. Now this is going to be a pretty long build. Not because it's particularly difficult to build, but simply because of the size of it. I want to make sure that we have enough space in this farmhouse to grow and improve as we go along. We've got a lot of different mods that I want to get to, so I want to make sure we don't have to start building additional bases on top of this one. So you can see I'm using red wool to plot out the general location. And then I go in between those bits and start putting in the cobblestone. I really like using cobblestone to be the base of the structures if they're going to be using just plain old wood, because it kind of gives it a little more depth to it and makes it feel like it has a little more weight. When I build large buildings, I like to break them up into individual square sections. So you can see the 2 pillars I'm making now will go back to make a single frame, a single square, and then the larger rectangular kind of makes like kind of bisects it. So in my head, I'm viewing it as 2 different squares that intersect, and you'll see once I start working on the roof exactly how that pans out. Now I've made the A-frame for the front of the house, and I'm going to make a similar but smaller A-frame for the sides. I want the taller A-frame to be the main part, and the other 2 to be kind of like individual wings. Now as the camera pans around, I have to make sure my A-frames match up. I don't want to put wood in between them. I don't want to make a whole line to make sure it lines up, so I constantly fly back and forth just to make sure the dimensions are right. Now at this part, I start filling in a little bit of the walls. It's a little ramshackle at this bit because I'm still unsure exactly how geometrically the ceiling of the wings will connect to the main center bit. And I try using oak wood here to kind of like stencil it out and figure out exactly how the walls are going to bisect. But in a second here you'll see I start breaking into it because I figure that, you know what, I'll worry about that when the roof actually has to go in. There's still more structure stuff that I can put in, and I'll deal with that later. I make the A-frame on the opposite side and use that wood to kind of bridge the gaps. I'm going to focus on this center square bit here. I say square, it's more like a rectangle now that I've got it all in order. Because worst case scenario, I can delete bits of the wall where I want the wings to intersect, as opposed to trying to make it all fit and then realizing that it's going to be a few blocks off. And I know I'm not going to want windows on this back wall here, because all you're going to see is the mountainside, so I go ahead and I fill that whole thing right on it. Now you can probably see from this little flyabout, there's already going to be a lot of space. Even once the wood is in, this is going to be a decently tall structure. I'll probably end up putting windows on that side, but I can worry about that once the floors are in. Right now, I just want to be able to have each of the sections separate and in place and all the walls in order, so I can kind of look around and take stock and figure out where I want to go from here. Now that wing on the other side looks good. I'm going to fill in the walls on this side. Now, I know it seems a little bit boring, but I need to make sure that everything is perfectly in line and that I have the space that I need before I start doing the ceilings. And you can see I've started using the spruce staircase to go up the side, and I use it to put a line down the center. Now what I'm going to be doing, and this isn't visible for a little bit, so bear with me here, but what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be having this wooden structure, but if I only did the roofing on the top, if I plopped it down like a helmet, it would kind of look uneven. So that middle line that separates the first from the second floor, that bisects the build, will make it look a little more detailed, a little more uniform, and a little less top-heavy. There are other things that I can do to the base to make it kind of balanced, to make it look like the weight of the roof wouldn't cause the whole thing to collapse, but this is a neat little trick just to make my 2-story house not appear so basic. Now, placing stairs is the absolute worst part of this. Not only do I have to worry about how each of the wings go together, but just making sure that each individual stair block is rotated the right way is such a pain. I always regret doing large builds like this when it comes around to roofing, and it's one of the big reasons why I chose to make this whole thing in creative. Doing this in survival would just be an absolute nightmare. I had enough problems with the little tool shed we did, much less this monstrosity. And you notice I'm using the same overhang technique that I used on the tool shed, using those upside down stairs to make it appear as though the diagonal is a little out of the normal space that Minecraft allots you. And you can see that the bisecting bit actually goes in line with the roofing on the wings. That was not actually planned, that was just a happy little accident, and it makes the whole thing look like it's all meant to go together. I'm quite pleased with it. Like I said earlier, roofing takes forever. We're a little over halfway done, though. I considered putting in a chimney, but I wasn't entirely quite positive where I wanted each of my individual rooms to be. I felt like a fireplace should probably go into like a living room setting, but until I can actually walk into the build and start looking around and start seeing my mind's eye where I want to put this thing, where I want to put that thing, there's no sense in adding it in just yet. So, how's the weather? This build took a lot longer than I expected it to, and even sped up as quickly as I can make it, without it becoming too difficult to actually read and understand what's going on. This is a pretty big, pretty long build. Had I tried to do this in survival like my initial plan was, this would have taken forever. I normally allot myself 30 to 45 minutes for these build segments alone, and if I had tried to do this in survival, yeah, we would have gotten like 3 episodes worth of footage out of that. But you can see here I'm polishing off the second wing. You'll notice on the first wing, though, that I didn't actually finish the roof. There's that little strip in the center block that I kind of left be. I'm not entirely certain, well, I mean, I am now, I'm recording this after the fact, but at this point in the recording, I'm not entirely certain what I want the sides of the roofs to actually look like. I could have a little lip at the end using a stair block, so it looks kind of Viking in nature. I could just have it be flat with slabs. I figured that I can finish the main roofs and then go back and try a couple of things and figure out what works best for me. Skylights were another option that I considered to make sure I got as much natural light as possible, but unfortunately, glass stair blocks are not a thing in this mod pack. Oh well, my bad. You can see here I'm fumbling a little bit with placing these stairs. I've been placing so many stairs that now I'm kind of getting a little lazy about it. And you can see I put that one stair block on the center. I wasn't quite positive what I wanted to do, so at this point I'm flying around, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at both sides, I'm like, how do I want to do this last block? And eventually, nope, there's Ewan. Eventually, I come back around, and I decide to just go with some basic slabs. Yeah, get rid of that block, and just go for it. Doodle-loop, and boop, there we go. Now, with the roofing out of the way, I have to worry about the flooring. And I had a couple of options. Quark adds in a couple of variations on the regular logs, so the regular planks, to allow the planks to go in different directions. There's a vertical log that I can try, and I tried that out for a second, but I believe that in the end, I just go with regular spruce planks. Another thing to keep in mind when making builds, especially one as big as these, where you're going to be living in them for quite a lot of time, is color. We have that cobblestone for the bottom, and I could have gone with a cobblestone floor, but I just didn't like the feel of that. I wanted something that felt a little more modern, a little less medieval farm. Now here I know that I want some big bay windows on the front of the house, so I try a couple designs, put in some glass panes, and from here I should be able to see the whole of the farm once we get it going, so that's going to be nice. I put a couple windows on each side of the wings as well, knowing that it's going to be difficult to light this place up once I get it all fully enclosed. The haphazard torch placement will not remain. This is just to keep things from spawning while I'm working in it. And there's Ewan, watching and making sure that I'm doing the job properly. He's a good sheep. So you may have noticed, and this is a feature, not a bug, but the wing on the right-hand side of the build is actually a bit longer than the one on the left-hand side. I don't like to have my builds be 100% the same. I don't like the symmetry. I like it when it looks symmetrical, but it isn't really, because then it adds a lot of character to a build. We'll probably have that wing be where the kitchen is, because we have that nice big window area. And as the camera pans around, I begin work on the floor. Now you can see here, this is where I'm finagling with different kinds of woods, figuring what kind I like, and I decided, you know what, I'll just go with the regular spruce wood. There's no reason to get touchy about it. And putting in the flooring, well, it's not an art. You just gotta make sure you get all the blocks in place. Misclicking once or twice, forgetting to remove flowers, and forgetting that they don't actually disappear when you right-click them with a block, you know, it just comes with it. Comes with the job. I quite like how the palette of the build goes from dark to light to back to dark without swaying in one way or another too much. The only downside is that cobblestone does get completely covered up and is not visible from the inside, but I figure I can live. Now you see here, I mark off where the second floor is going to be, where the second story, and I just start filling it in. I like picking my floors in geometrical shapes, so I block off that square shape, and I'll focus on filling that in first. Then I'll go to the individual wings and finish off. And you might be thinking, wow, Gadda kind of fills his floors in kind of an erratic sense. He doesn't really follow any particular one pattern. You'd be absolutely right. All of this building large builds, especially in creative, can be very, very tedious work. So just kind of doing it randomly at your own pace is probably for the best. A lot of people have every single block placement planned out in advance. Me, not so much. Not so much. You can see I started going in like a spiral around and around and around, but then I give up at that point with a misclick and just kind of stay on top of it and just randomly fill it in. Now I break a spot in the floor to put a staircase down. Swoop right through here. Just barely managed to miss hitting our heads. This will allow us to get from one floor to another. And behind that staircase, I'm probably going to put something of a small closet, maybe with a staircase going further down into a root cellar if I decide I want to expand down that way. Now I plug up that small gap, now that I no longer need the full light, and I decide where the door is going to be. Put some windows to the side, and here we go, the house is almost done. Now there's one more thing that I desperately want, and that's going to be a front porch. I'm going to use the cobblestone to line it out, and use the spruce that I had for the flooring on the inside to fill it in, and a few more decorative bits, and we'll be ready to go. And here we have it, a few more bits and bobs, and we have the farmhouse. Unfortunately, the flyby recording cut off before I could finish the porch, which is a little upsetting, but not much I can do about that. Let me take through what I did after that recording stopped working. So the first thing that I did, actually, is I looked at this wall here, and I realized that it was kind of flat with just the pure oak wood going across, so I added in these oak stairs, and I rotated them just so that it kind of gave a little more sense of depth to it. Like beforehand, I don't have any extras on me, but yeah, you know, I had just this flat surface straight across, and then it just immediately there was a ledge here, and then the doors, and it didn't look all that great. So I put these upside down oak stairs in place to give it a little more oomph. And I actually did the same thing with all the windows, so you can see up there. I did it with those, and I think the effect is very, very nice. Obviously, I then added in all these fence posts here to keep me from just walking off the edge of my porch. And excuse me, good sir, I know you don't like being tied up here, but it was that or having you wander all over the place and possibly getting hurt. Can you hush? I'm trying to record a video. Thank you. He's so rude. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh, obviously, yeah, put the roof on. The roof is another one. A little roof on the porch here. And I put some floral stuff around the side. Now, these are spruce trapdoors that I put into place to make it look as though they're like planters. I think it looks really nice. Some more foliage. And over here, you'll see that we have made a fancier, thinner, more modern-looking to-do list of things to do signboard. Unfortunately, this does mean that this one we don't really need anymore, which is kind of sad, but what can you do? I'm going to have this removed so that I can actually see out into my field from my kitchen window. Let me walk you through the inside real quick, actually, so you can see it without having the flyby constantly rotating around. So here's what I'm thinking for this place. I think I'm going to have the kitchen over here. I think this whole area here is going to be the kitchen. I might put in some more windows along this wall just to give it a little more natural light. But I like having these big windows so I can look at, look at this. Imagine coming up here in the mornings, getting a cup of coffee, looking out over the field and seeing all this stuff growing. Oh man, it's going to be so cool. Over here, I figure we can have sort of a living room, so some couches, a TV maybe, some shelves to put some cool stuff that we find. Definitely hang some of the stuff that we find that we can't use but looks cool on the wall. That'd be nice. And then up top is where we're going to have the bedroom. I'm still not entirely sure how much of this I want to be my bedroom. I don't think I need all that much space. Maybe I'll just choose like one of these wings. Like this side will be the bedroom, and then we'll put something else over here, maybe a guest room. I don't know. We're going to have an entire episode dedicated to decorating the inside of this, and I cannot wait. So, I think for today, that's gonna be it for me. There's not a whole lot left that I think we can do. Man, look at this house. It's huge. I love it. I'm really happy with it. Until next time, guys, I will see you around. Take care now. Bye-bye. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Now make sure we're recording. Are we recording? We are, in fact, recording. Okay. Howdy, farm hands. Howdy, farm hands. Me, 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 me. Howdy, farm hands. My name is Gadda, and welcome back to Coop Cakes. Me, 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 me. Can I get a yeehaw? Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Howdy, farm hands. Howdy, farm hands. Howdy, farm hands. La 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 la. La. Always be recording. Always be recording. And how do I... Oh no. I'm still in creative. Oh no. Alrighty then.